Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Unpacked Technologies. Today we're going to be taking a look at the main new features on iOS 14 by using the iOS 14 public beta. Let's get straight into it. iOS 14 is one of the biggest iOS releases ever, revolutionizing the way that we experience and use our iPhones. The main thing that has changed in this update is the way that we look at our home screen, something that has not changed in a very long time for iPhones. So the first all-new feature that I'll take a look at is the widgets on the home screen. Now, I know that you might be thinking, well, widgets have been on Android devices for years, and that is true. But I think that the way that Apple has implemented this addition to iOS will be so much more helpful and productive than the ones that Android have had. To add a widget, just go to the home screen, hold down on any part of it. Now this step here might be different depending on what iPhone you have, but for the iPhone 6S you tap in the top right hand corner on the plus button and you'll see this widget library come up. Now you can choose some of the suggested ones or you can scroll down and come down to the categories here. So let's say I want to add maybe a smart stack. I can tap on it and then I can choose the size I want it. So I might just want this size here. So I can go add widget and it'll add it there, but I can move it around by holding down and dragging it to anywhere on the home screen. So I'm going to leave it there. And if I want to add another one, I just click the plus again. And this time I might want something that tells me about my calendar. So I can tap on calendar. And this time, or I can go huge one, medium or small. I'm just going to go small this time. So add widget. And there it is. But this one I want in the bottom left. Alright, so that's pretty much how to add widgets. As you can see, these look very clean and tidy on the home screen. Unfortunately in this beta, some of these widgets don't work completely properly, but on the smart stack here, I can scroll through to different widgets. And so that can be helpful. So the next big change that I'm going to talk about in this video is the Today view. Now the Today view has been around since iOS 10 and it's looked pretty much the same by swiping left and seeing all your widgets in a row. But now, the Today view has taken the same type of look as the widgets on the home screen, and now it looks much more modern and refined, and it can also be personalized much more easily. Now, I'm going to talk about the app library. This is where it sorts all your apps into different categories instead of having to put it onto folders in the home screen. Now, this isn't my main device, so I've only really got the Apple stock apps on here. But if you have heaps of apps, usually you'll be scrolling through heaps of pages to try and find them. Usually they're apps you wouldn't even use much. So the app library is the furthest page to the right. And as you can see, it looks like it's sorted them pretty well. Although, because this isn't my main device, as I said earlier, I haven't got many other apps except for the Apple stock apps. So this might be different if you have more apps than this. So if you want to remove a page, so you can just use the app library, hold down on the home screen, and then you tap on the little dots here to show how many pages you have. And then I can untick this second page here. So now if I go back, then it swipes straight to the app library and that page is now hidden, which can be quite helpful if you don't want to see apps that you rarely ever use and you just want to be able to easily access the app library. But for now, I'm just going to switch that back. Another great new feature found in iOS 14 is in the Maps app. So this will be especially helpful if you're a keen bike rider like me, because it will help you map out your next bike ride. It shows whether there's going to be stairs that might get in the way, and where you might have to walk your bike around. And then if there is one of those barricades, you can then tell Maps whether you want to route around it so that you don't have to stop and get off your bike. And the other new feature I wanted to talk about is in the weather app. It's where it now shows precise location, even down to your street, which is good if you want really precise and accurate weather. So now that I've talked about all the new features, it's time now to get into talking about some of the issues with this beta. Now, the first issue I've heard is the storage issue, where the system and other files take up way too much than they should. So if I just go to iPhone storage. Now, for me, this hasn't been a huge issue because it might be because it's not my main device and I've only got the Apple stock apps on here. But as you can see, that looks like about right for the system and other files. And it's not filling up my whole 16 gigabytes on this iPhone 6S. But if you are using a main device, then this might be an issue for you. Another thing that is usually an issue in the betas is the battery. So I'll go here. Now for me, the battery's been quite jumpy. Sometimes it'll be running fine like you would expect it to normally. And then sometimes it loses like 20 or 30% at once. And it goes really strange. So that's one of the issues with the battery. And hopefully they'll be fixed in the official release of iOS 14. Usually this happens in all betas, these two storage and battery issues. But my battery health on this phone is at 87%. If you have something lower, you might experience more battery issues. So I hope that this video has given you a quick and helpful look at the brand new features in iOS 14. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.